All right, here we go. We are going to use this information now to create a production possibilities graph. Okay, so somebody tell me how many Doritos were they able to make and pizza in the 15 seconds? 15 and 2? 15 and 2. I like that. So I'm going to take my table here. All right, and we've got, you're going to want to put this in your notes now. Okay, so we have Doritos and pizza. Continuing from, this will be number 8, actually. Number 8. I didn't put it on there, but this is number 8. So we were able to make, and you can use your own information, but I was able to make 34 Doritos and 0 pizza, and 0 Doritos and 4 pizzas, and then 15 and 2. Okay? Now, before we actually graph this information, we have to know what the production possibility graph is. Okay? So the production possibility graph is our first graph we're going to learn in AP Econ. First of 8 total. Okay? And really, what you need to understand is that all the graphs that we're going to use in this class are just really supposed to be illustrations of concepts. Try to make them seem a little, I guess, easier. I don't know if that's always going to be the case or not. But the production possibility graph is the graph that illustrates scarcity and opportunity cost. Okay, that's really what this graph is designed to do. So by definition, I'm going to put down that the production possibility graph illustrates all the possible combinations that an economy can use its resources. An economy can use its resources. So you had your land, labor, capital, right? We're using our resources, our land, labor, and capital to produce, in this scenario, Doritos and pizza. And we tried to chart out how much we could produce. Now we're going to put that on our production possibility graph. So your graph is always going to look like this. And you're going to put each good on an axis. It doesn't really matter which axis you put which good. So I'm going to put Doritos and pizza. And then I'm going to chart this info. So for me, I'm going to put 34. I'll put a dot here. Oops. 34. And I'll put another dot here. 4. And then I'll put my third dot somewhere in the middle. This thing doesn't like me making dots. There we go. And I'm going to connect the dots. It should look something like that. Okay? And we'll put down that at this point it's 15 and 2. There we go. So that's kind of what your production possibility curve should look like. Okay? Now, on this graph, we're going to do some labeling here. Okay? I am going to, let's see. We're going to call our point in the middle of our line point A. Okay? And I'm going to put some notes next to my graph. So I'm going to say point A. And point A really represents not just that point, but all points. I'm going to run out of room. I got to move that. Not just that point, but it represents all points that fall on our, what we call the production possibility curve. Point A. So point A is on our curve, okay? So we would say then that point A is attainable because we know that we can produce that many Doritos and pizzas, and it's also efficient. Bless you. Attainable and efficient. And what we need to know is on our production possibility graph, any point that falls on that curve, on the line, okay, is an efficient use of resources. So point A could be anywhere on the line, and we should be able to produce that combination of Doritos and pizza, and that should be the most amount of Doritos and pizza that we can produce using the resources that we have. Okay? Attainable and efficient. Point A. Now let's take another point. We'll call it point B, and we'll put it somewhere inside our production possibility curve. And we'll put point B over here. What do we know about point B? Is it attainable? It is attainable. So we'll say it's attainable. But we know we can do better than that with the resources that we have, right? So we would say that it's attainable and inefficient. Okay? And inefficient. So that means that we have resources available that we are not using at that moment. So we're not being efficient. Okay? Maybe, our scenario, we only had one worker, right? We were each our own worker. But if you had a business, it could be like, you have workers available, but you're choosing not to use all of them. So you can do more, but you've laid those workers off. You told them to stay home, so they're not available to work that day. So you won't be able to produce up to your potential or at an efficient point. Okay? Next up is point C. Let's put point C somewhere outside our curve. And we'll say point C now is point C attainable? It's not currently attainable with the resources that we have available, right? Something would have to change for us to be able to produce that many Doritos and pizzas at the same time, in the same workday. So we'll put that it's unattainable with current resources. Unattainable with current resources. Okay, well, man. So I think that's important for us to know. Any point outside of our curve, we can't produce at that point with what we currently have. Okay? Any point inside is not being efficient, and any point on our curve is efficient. Okay? Now, one thing that we'll add to this on Monday, okay, is that do you think our production possibility curve is going to stay there forever?
No.
No, it's not. Our goal is for our economy to grow. Okay? We show growth by changing that curve. When we have more resources, more land, labor, capital, now all of a sudden that curve can shift outward. If we lose resources, that curve would shift inward. Okay, and you'll see a couple of examples of that in your homework in the reinforcement questions. So that's just something to keep in mind as you're going through that homework. Okay. All right. Stop this.